Welcome to the WHHI-TV Daily News. I'm Betsy McDaniel. We'll get started with a few headlines on this steamy summer Lowcountry day. On a story we are continuing to follow, there is more bad news for suspended Beaufort County Administrator Eric Greenway. Former employee Lisa Lynch is now alleging sexual harassment and retaliation against Greenway. She also says she is cooperating with the current investigation. Lynch claims she dated Greenway in 2022 and was then hired to be the county's director of wellness in April of this year. Her claim goes on to say that she brought her new boyfriend to a party just after being hired by the county, where Greenway was also in attendance. Greenway was allegedly openly agitated at the party and then later sent threatening emails and text messages. She says she filed formal complaints that were investigated, but no wrongdoing was found. Lynch has now filed a discrimination complaint with the federal government. She was fired from her director of wellness position earlier this week, which she feels is in direct retaliation to her claims and her help in the current investigation. She and her sister-in-law own an opioid counseling firm contracted with the county. And as if the county didn't have enough legal trouble on its hands, lawyers are working on a class action lawsuit against the county detention center for routinely subjecting female prisoners to strip searches in front of male guards. Those same searches were not performed on male prisoners. More than 5,000 notices were sent out to women who'd been detained in Beaufort County since 2015. Federal law says there is no limit to the amount of money that could be collected in such a lawsuit. If the lawsuit does make it to trial, it would take place in federal court in Charleston. We told you yesterday that South Carolina is currently considered the second best housing market in the country. Only Florida is better at the moment. Now the Realtors Association in the Lowcountry say demand has continued to outpace supply through the first half of 2023. Prices are still up, but at a more modest 6% increase on Hilton Head as compared to the 23% spike of last year. Prices north of the Broad are up about 9%. Inventory levels are also up about 9% overall and up over 13% for single-family homes on the island. But there is still only about 2 months' worth of inventory in the Lowcountry. 5 to 8 months is considered more normal. Hardyville and Port Royal are particular hotspots these days. We also told you yesterday that law enforcement officials thought they knew who pulled the trigger during a fight at a nightclub in Ridgeland over the weekend that killed 29-year-old Albert Hayward. Turns out it's the same guy they arrested Tuesday for the Easter Sunday shooting death of 21-year-old Davion Reed outside his Cross Creek apartment. 19-year-old Levent Frazier of Yemassee is being charged with both murders and will be held in the Jasper County Jail for now. And healthcare in Beaufort County had always been separated by the bridges to Hilton Head, but Beaufort Memorial Hospital has now crossed over to the island by purchasing the radiology company Island Imaging. One of its doctors saying the island needs more healthcare services than it currently gets from Hilton Head Hospital alone. Beaufort Memorial is seeking to increase its primary care business on the island. The media sources on the screen will have more on these and other stories, and we would love for you to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram at WHHI-TV. And if you have an idea for a news story, we'd love to hear it, so drop us a line at news@WHHITV.com. And now here's Justin Jarrett with what happened last night in the Loco.
Hey, it's time for Last Night in the Loco on WHHI, powered by LocoSports.com. November 11th. That's the day NCAA Division II college basketball officially comes to the Lowcountry. The USCB Sand Sharks announced their inaugural basketball schedule Wednesday, and it starts with home games against Morris College with a 1:30 p.m. tip for the women and the men's debut to follow on Saturday, November 11th. The Sand Sharks have 14 home games on the schedule, 9 on Saturday afternoons and 5 on Wednesday evenings, including their Peach Belt opener against Augusta on January 3rd. The final home contest of the season comes on February 24th when Flagler pays a visit from St. Augustine. The Sand Sharks round out their first season on the road at Columbus State and Augusta. USCB also released its women's soccer schedule for the fall, and they'll be getting started much sooner. Newberry College visits Finland Field to open the season on September 1st, and the Sand Sharks host Clayton State for their Peach Belt opener on September 16th. They'll round out the regular season slate at home against South Carolina State on November 2nd, before heading to the Peach Belt Championships 4 days later. If you're looking for a local twist on national and international sports news, check out our newest show, Distant Replay, where former SportsCenter anchor and WHHI newsman Bob Stevens holds court with Hall of Fame sports writer Curry Kirkpatrick and legendary Hilton Head prep coach Rich Basirico. Watch with video on the Loco Media YouTube channel or listen to the audio version wherever you get your podcasts. For Loco Sports and WHHI, I'm Justin Jarrett. Until next time, go Loco.
Thanks, Justin. Now let's get an update on the weather with Maria Soden.
Thanks, Betsy. Yep, so taking a look ahead, we are going to see quite a few more storms going into this weekend, but most of them are going to be in the later afternoons and possibly into the evenings. And also, the heat index is going to drop down just a little bit Friday and Saturday. It's going to go down into the 90s, but then come Sunday and going into next week, it's going to go back into the hundreds. So taking a look at Friday, it's going to be partly cloudy with a couple thunderstorms later in the evening. Hillnet's going to have a high of 87, a low of 79. Bluffton's going to have a high of 88, a low of 78. And Beaufort's going to have a high of 88 and a low of 78. The sunrise for Friday is going to be at 6:35 and sunset's going to be at 8:23. Taking a look at the beach tides, low tide's going to be at 12:53 p.m. and high tide's going to be at 6:10 p.m. Taking a look into the rest of the weekend, into the weekend, Saturday it's going to be sunny with a thunderstorm in the afternoon, but should be clearing up by the evening. Highs in the low 90s and lows in the 70s. Come Sunday, it's going to be sunny to partly cloudy with a thunderstorm in the later afternoon. Again, should be clearing up by the evening. Highs in the 90s, lows in the 70s. And then come Monday, it's going to be partly cloudy with thunderstorms in the afternoon and then again in the evening. Highs in the 90s, lows in the 70s. That's it for today. Let's head it back to the desk.
Thanks, Maria, and we'll be back in just a moment with Bob Stevens, who sits down with the new community outreach program through the Hilton Head Fire Department. Don't go away.